Hello everyone, and welcome to the 5th episode of my Forza Horizon online series. I've got two races to show you in this video, and both are online rally events from the Veteran Rally playlist. The first, which you're watching now, is the first rally race I ever did online. It's becoming a bit of a habit of mine to show you all the first time I do something regardless of the outcome, as I did with the first episode of this series and others. But thankfully I don't embarrass myself in this race. I'll cut out the middle of the race as not much happens after the first few minutes, and it's the second race which is the better one. I'll talk more about that when we get to it though. So along with me talking about the racing action, I'm also going to be giving my final thoughts on this rally DLC and talk a little more about the online features. These are things which I didn't really cover in my initial review of the DLC, which, if you haven't seen it, is linked in the description. Now, as I mentioned in that video, I'm not the best at rallying. I'm sure there are much faster guys than me out there, but I have been able to hold my own online. When it comes to online racing with this DLC, there are two choices for you: the social and veteran playlists. These are just the same as their counterparts on the main game in terms of rules, except they instead have exclusively rally events. There are also some custom lobbies too, of course. When you enter a race, everything is the same as normal until you get into the race itself, when you find yourself alone on the course. That's because everyone else is essentially a ghost car. There are no collisions in these races, although you will still be hampered by any dust flying off cars in front of you. It can get quite tense at times, since it's a lot easier to make mistakes, and having another 2 or 3 cars keeping up with you only adds to the pressure. And talking of pressure, we're now going to move on to the next race after what was a nice win here, which I was very pleased about. Winning in your first race is always a bit of a confidence booster. Now this next race is very different to the one you've just seen, as I don't manage to gradually drive away from my opponents. The two main guys I'm racing are just as quick as me, and we all have a good battle for quite a while, although I do spend more time in the lead than the others. However, I do make a big mistake at the 34% mark and drop way out of the running, about 7 seconds off the lead. I do decide to carry on though, as it's all about the fun of rallying with this DLC, and I'll come back to the action as we near the end of the race. But back to this DLC itself, and the big question now that I've completed it and had a go at everything it has to offer is it worth 1,600 Microsoft points? The short answer is, in my opinion, no. I'm pretty sure 1,600 Microsoft points is the most I've ever paid for a downloadable content pack, and I can't say it's been worth it. It's about a third of the price of the whole game itself, and you're getting a lot less playtime than that would suggest. The main single player section comprises of 7 rallies which take about 10 minutes each, so even with some repeats you're only getting around 2 or 3 hours of playtime. It adds something extra in the form of online races too, but there's only so much you're going to do on there until you get bored as well. Racing against ghosts isn't exactly inspiring. Yes, you also get 5 new cars, but I've always thought the car packs from Forza were overpriced and lacking imagination when it comes to DLC. For that reason I've never bought a car pack, and so that part of this DLC doesn't really do it for me either. Now I think I could break down this DLC into a few sections based on what you get. For example, it's a car pack, an extension of single player, an extension of multiplayer, etc. And only when you actually want all of those things does it become worth 1,600 Microsoft points. If you regularly buy car packs, are always trying to get higher on the rivals boards, and are always racing online, then this pack is worth the money. However, if only one of those things is missing, you'll feel a bit shortchanged. When you consider games like Mass Effect, which release huge DLC packs which keep you going for hours for either 800 or 1,200 points, you start to realise that 1,600 points for this rally DLC is a little too much. I think 1,200 would have been an ideal price, to be honest. As a final summary, if you have the cash to spare and you enjoy Forza Horizon, you will enjoy this. The actual DLC itself is fantastic, and you'll get out of it what you put into it. But if you're strapped for cash, or are only thinking of buying it for one aspect, paying 1,600 points is likely going to leave you feeling a bit worse for wear. My overall opinion on this DLC in 3 words: excellent but overpriced. And so with that business taken care of, it's time to refocus our attention on this current race. As you saw, I was having a good battle with the two guys I was racing for first place before I got a bit of a tank slapper going as I went over the crest of a hill and then smashed into an unbreakable tree. I was obviously passed by the two leaders, and the fact that the guy who was in 4th passed me as well showed the scale of my error. I do carry on though, and at this moment all I'm aiming to do is finish a respectable 3rd. I may have lost to the two leaders anyway even if I hadn't made the mistake, but I would certainly have beaten the guy who's now in 3rd, so I want to at least regain that position. The two leaders are too far away and a bit too quick for me to be able to make up the lost time. And since I've already made a mistake, I can just go all out, and it's the last dirt section of this race, which you're watching now, where that really shows. I'm really in the zone at this point, and the speed and momentum I'm carrying through each corner is immense. So as you saw there, I managed to overtake the guy in front and I move up into 3rd, and I'm going to stop talking now so you can watch the last part of the race as it happened.
Care, drop, into medium left, keep mid. 100, care, drop. Care, bumps, easy left, to flying finish.
So in around 6 seconds I went from being 3rd to 1st as the two leaders seemed to both make a mistake on the same corner. I didn't however, and the speed I carried through it allowed me to close the gap and pass on the run to the finish line. The race ended up being a nice little comeback, thanks to a bit of a mistake from those in front and me getting into the zone when it really mattered. And that about wraps it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you've bought the Rally DLC pack let me know your thoughts on it. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.